I hate horror movies. Whether during the tensest of moments or the calm before the storm, they freak me out and leave me scared for weeks. That being said, I have dove into the genre of horror once or twice, or 4 times specifically in my life. And the reason is because of how enthralling they are. The story and the atmosphere are just so cool. So today, I will tell you about all the horror movies that I've watched and rank them on how enjoyable they are and how scared I was after watching them. Also, this video will contain spoilers for each movie, so be warned. The first horror movie I ever saw was Coraline. And before anyone argues that Coraline is not a horror movie, it is. When you look up Coraline, in the description it says horror and family movie, but it still says horror. And I watched it when I was around 9, and can I just say how beautiful this movie is? The stop motion of the characters are so smooth and the set pieces are immaculate. Like, did you know that a single puppet took a team of 10 people over a span of 4 months to create? Anyway, a little family fact was that Coraline was my brother's first movie ever. And he was at the ripe age of 5 when he saw it. So let's just say he left that movie theater scarred. Now, without further ado, let me summarize Coraline. So the movie starts with Coraline Jones and her parents Charlie and Mel driving to their new house, the Pink Palace Apartments. And while Coraline is exploring her new house, she discovers her new neighbors Babinski, Wybie, and Mrs. Spink and Forcible. When she goes to sleep, a little mouse guides her to a secret tunnel that moves her into a parallel universe of her house and family. And she loves it there and never wants to leave until, after a few nights of enjoying her new life with better food and parents, the other mother tells her that she can only stay if she sews buttons on her eyes. Coraline runs away and hides in her old house until she realizes that the other mother has taken her real parents and hid them somewhere in the parallel world. After an onslaught of challenges to retrieve her parents and the souls of the ghost children who the other mother took, she has a final battle to decide her fate. Coraline throws a cat at the other mother's face and escapes the crumbling fake world, and the movie ends. Or does it? As it turns out, the spindly hand of the mother broke off and chased after Coraline, who threw it into a well with the help of Wybie. Now, I definitely left out a lot of the story, so you should watch it if you haven't already. But now it's time to rank. I would rank this as not really that scary. Now, there were scary parts, but it is still a family movie and it's not made to give someone a heart attack. But because this is the first movie ranked so far, it goes in the number 1 spot. Good for you, Coraline. The second horror movie I watched was much later in life when I was about 13. Like I said, I do not watch horror movies. And I was sleeping over at my friend's house, and the movie we decided to watch was Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I've seen my fair share of FNAF theories, but this movie was different. It wasn't made by game theory. Anyway, the movie starts with Mike being fired for assaulting a guy, which leads into him getting hired as a security guard at the closed down Freddy location. On Mike's first night, he falls asleep and dreams about 5 kids. Wonder who they are, who run away from him when he gets closer. On his second night of guarding, Vanessa, a police officer, explains to Mike that the building was closed down after 5 children went missing there. During night 3, Mike brings his little sister Abby, who befriends the animatronics who turned out to be possessed by the children. Night 4, Mike, Vanessa, and Abby hang out with the animatronics, but Abby gets injured and cannot come for the 5th night. Mike, by himself, goes to guard, but is captured by the animatronics who try to eliminate him. But he escapes. While this is happening, the secret Yellow Freddy goes to Mike's house and kidnaps Abby. Mike then fights the animatronics and William Afton, the guy who murdered the kids, and escapes the building with Abby and Vanessa. Okay, me personally, it wasn't that scary. Now at the time, I was pretty spooked but looking back at it, it wasn't too bad. But I would still put this as above Coraline and give it the new number 1 spot. The third horror movie I watched in my lifetime was an interesting one called In the Tall Grass. This one really freaked me out and not in a good way. The plot for the movie is very confusing, but I'll try my best. This one starts with two siblings driving along a field of grass when they hear a little kid, played by the kid from Bunked, screaming for help in the grass. So they go to rescue him, but after a while they separate from each other and lose sight of the exit. And what happens is the grass magically moves them around, making them trapped, unable to leave forever. And after that, the movie gets pretty confusing and honestly gross. If you're wondering, just look up
Anthropophagite.
But eventually the movie time loops, I think, and the whole movie restarts kind of. Again, it's confusing.
Huh?
But now that I've explained it to the best of my ability, I would rank this one as scarier than Coraline, but not as scary as FNAF. If anything, it definitely was the most disturbing and gross movie, but FNAF still has it beat, so this goes in the number 2 spot. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Smile. This one was a doozy. Basically, it was late at night and I was hanging out with my friend Aiden and we just got back from Waffle House. I thought we were just gonna have a chill time at his house, but then he said it.
We should watch Smile.
Aiden, you are not cool. The movie starts with Rose, a therapist, working with one of her patients who says that ever since she saw her professor croak in his office, she's been seeing people in her life look at her and then smile at her. The session continues until Rose gets a call, and when she looks back at her patient, she has a huge, creepy smile on her face. And then she, disembowels herself. Then, ladies and gentlemen, things get creepy. Rose heads home after witnessing that, and while she's washing dishes, she sees something in a dark hallway. The tension is building up when her fiancé walks in and Rose drops the cup she was cleaning. And at this point in the movie, nothing terrifying really happened, but I knew that I would not be able to sleep if I didn't distract myself. So, on my phone I pulled up Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and whenever something jumped out, I would put all my attention onto Mickey dancing. Anyway, the movie continues, and throughout it, Rose goes through these normal everyday activities until the smile demon transforms into a person and gives her a little spoof. Whether that be your sister jumping at her, or the doctor checking up on her and the smiling. At some point on the 5th day of this, she's had enough and decides to stop the curse once and for all. So, with the help of her police sidekick pal Joel, gets her to her old abandoned childhood house. The perfect place for nothing creepy to go down. So now, Rose is left alone by herself in a creepy house, and she and the smile entity battle it out. Rose grabs a lighter and burns the entity, finally ending the curse. Rose celebrates by happily driving back to Joel's house, relieved that the curse is finally over. Thus, the movie ends with that. Or does it? Rose opens Joel's door and sees that Joel's standing there, smiling. Rose realizes that this is all in her head and she is actually still at the house. The entity appears again, and this time, Rose passes out and the monster then takes control of her. The real Joel, who tracked Rose by her phone, runs through the door to see Rose smiling at him as she uses self-immolation to eliminate herself. Thus, the curse continues, and actually, the movie ends there. Okay, now that I've told you each of the 4 movies, I would rank Smile as 100% the scariest movie I've ever seen. Weeks after I watched this revolting movie, I was running late at night, and I'm telling you, I was running twice as fast to get home because I knew someone was chasing me. Alright, that's all everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and who knows, I might do another ranking like this again, if y'all liked it.